The 90s is an incredibly dark period in my country. We came out of 44 years of isolation. The world had moved on, did not wait for us. And we were incredibly hurt because the pain that was generated was by our own people. And it's not easy for a country to come to terms when the enemy is not the other, but is your own self. I think it's very important for a traumatic country like mine to come up with work that from local become universal, and hence we understand that our experience was just another potpourri of the world experience, because big experiments have been done on countries' shoulders, and the one we experienced for 44 years, it's a dark one that I think cinema can help with. As a woman who believed in the emancipation of women, coming from a strong line of strong women and Enver Hoxha's communist Albania, I really thought I should be a director, but the next concern was there was no film school. So there are times when I believe that my fate and the fate of my country are one and the same. There are times that I wonder that the reason why I am the way I am is because the Berlin Wall fell and because Albania opened up, because the first generation of Albanians who could go abroad as exchange students, I was part of. You carry the weight of your country's history. At least I've always felt very aware of it. So for me, it's always been to try to understand, now that we opened up, not as much about what do we have to offer, but how do we keep what it is uniquely ours in the face of this bigger world, and how do we synchronize better with where human nature is actually going. I find it that it is almost divine that I have come in a certain time that I could see the biggest changes and transformations of the 20th century, and I could now feel what the 21st is looking like. It is difficult as a human to absorb sometimes this transformation, but as a filmmaker, I'm actually almost lucky and privileged to be living such great times. Bota is simply the story of three young people in the middle of nowhere as the highway is being constructed. It couldn't get any simpler than that for a country that is going under construction for now 27 years, and it looks like this transition might continue a bit further.
Ndjesh më mirë. Kush jam unë?
Kush e din ti se kush je? Askush nuk mund të ndihmoj ty.
When you live in a certain system, how do you function? And when you go to another system, how do you alter yourself if you do so, and why do you do so? In Albania, Bota was experienced as really about the persecuted people of communism. But for me, the metaphor was far larger, because those beautiful people that we met in that small community in the middle of nowhere in Bota is actually all Albania, in my opinion.
Nuk e di. Ma historia më duk si temë të pithruruse, ngacmuese.
Provo ta jetosh në njërë. Pastaj flasë.
The models we have now of what it means to be a woman are not the models that made me who I am today. And this is how the duo, the fantastic women that embody the spirit of Bota, came into existence. I think, to me, they're actually the same women, played by two different characters. But it's what my country right now offers to a woman. You either are the quiet dignity, withdrawn, almost no life for you to be able to remain pure, And then you have the one who all heart and mind gives into the world, and the world takes its life. Had I not been a woman, I would have never gifted Albanian cinema with such strong, powerful women characters. No matter what a liberated male you can be, there are actually only a few that can write really strong, beautiful character women. For the past 13 months, now I'm the director of the Albanian National Film Archive. And as a filmmaker who was lucky enough to study in 16mm at NYU before the digital revolution happened, I've always had an eye and dedication to the Albanian Film Archive. And because every archive suffers, but ours just a tiny bit more, in 2012, we initiated what became the Albanian Cinema Project. And we are doing all this work to draw attention to the endangered conditions in our archive and to open up a cinema that has 70 years of traditions, yet due to our isolation, nobody knows exists. Because our past is so traumatic, because our relationship with truth is so fragmented, some people who don't want to put the finger where it hurts might find it easier if they say that if we delete our cinematic heritage, if we don't look at the way we acted for the camera, if this past that is so painful, we don't see it, the pus from the wound is gone. And I stand completely against it. And I think no matter how painful the images that we protect may be for some, I think that's where the secrets of healing are.